What's up guys, welcome to new Unreal Engine 5 tutorial. Today we are continuing with the GTA 6 tutorial series, and in this episode we will set up the car interaction animations. So we will play an animation when entering the car and also exiting the car, so we will achieve a better transition. Remember that you have full access to the project files through Patreon or YouTube members. It's going to be a very easy video to follow, so let's get started. Alright, so the first thing that we need to do is import both animations when we enter and exit the vehicle. So let's go into the characters folder, go to our animations folder, and now we can just right click, create another folder, and this will be something as car. And now what we can do is go ahead and download the animations that I will be linking in the description. Just unzip them as always and drag them into our project. There are two FBXs, so boom, into the content browser, and then we can select the skeleton. In this case, it will be the new SK mannequin, once again as always, for the Unreal Engine 5 skeleton. So not the SK mannequin skeleton for Unreal Engine 4, but SK mannequin for Unreal Engine 5. Just make sure. And also click reset to default just in case. Now click import all, and within a few seconds we should have both animations here, as you can see. So we have the entering the car animation, which looks really good, and also the exiting the car. Now for the exiting the car, you can see that it's actually also kind of entering. What is happening? Well, the thing is that we need to basically reverse this animation, because well, there wasn't really an animation exiting the car, honestly. So what we need to do is set the rate scale on here to -1, which is really like the speed, and you can see now it goes backwards, and then we only want that part of kind of exiting the car, right? So which goes like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and go into the point where he kind of goes like this, right? This step around on here in 126, right click. Okay, if it lets me right click, there we go, and then remove from frame 128 to 247, and now we only have the part of closing the door, as you can see. And now with that said, what we can do is go ahead and create two animation montages. We already covered the animation montages, so they're just animations that we can play at any time that we want. So what we're going to do is go ahead and right click on both animations, and then go into create and then montage, and now we can leave the default names and we can just have the same animations as animation montages. Now we need to do one thing, which is go to the animations root folder, go to the animation blueprint of our player, and go to the main anime graph. As you can see in here, we have a slot to play the anime montages for the upper body, but in this case we want to play the animations of the car for the whole body, not only the upper body. So what we're going to do is right before the control rig, we are going to go ahead and add another slot default for montage, right? A default slot for the default slot name, and this is the slot that this animation montages are playing, as you can see, and this will just cover the whole body, which is what we want, and it is very important. And now with that said, we can play this animation montages without any problems. So let's go into the player blueprint and implement all of the logic that we need. So in here, as you can see, we are interacting with the vehicle and entering the vehicle, right? So what we need to do is move the player, because right now if I go and press play, I can be kind of not very close to the door, right, and kind of hop in. But the animation will always place nicely if we kind of move our player to this destination, which we already have a kind of reference pose. So I'm gonna do this in the player blueprint, right after we interact with our vehicle. We are going to be using this very useful node, which is the move component 2. And what we can do is move a specific component to a position. In this case, the position, the component will be the whole player. So we can just drag in our capsule component, which, as you can see, is the parent of everything, and it will move that player slowly into that new position. What will be the new relative location and rotation? Well, in this case, it will be the vehicle's reference pose. So in here we need to do an adjustment. As you can see, it will be nice if it would return that vehicle's reference position, right? So we can basically interact with it, and we just would need to pass here the as a function the output. Now we would need to kind of I think delete the interface on here and add it again, but it would take 2 seconds. So let's go and open up the vehicle interaction interface, and on the enter vehicle, as you can see, we have an input. So what we can do is add another output, which will be the ref, location, and rotation. Okay, and now with that, what we can do is pass a transform, because it will contain both of those, the location and rotation. Now we can compile, save, and now close. And then here we have a warning, because this is not a custom event anymore. It will actually be a function. So we need to delete this, okay, and double click on enter vehicle. As you can see, now it is a function. So we're gonna go ahead and just Ctrl X all of this and just paste it on here, and then just plug it in back here and compile. And let's readjust this. So I'm gonna move this a bit up. There we go, so it's clean. And now in the player, we also have an output for our location. Now let me just test this and make sure that everything still works. So we can just make sure by just testing. There we go, as you can see, everything works. Now our player did not hide, and that's because we have an error here about the getting the player character. That's because we didn't plug it in. We only need to go ahead and plug it in on here, and now that variable will have access, and we will not have that error. So make sure to replug everything in, and also I can exit without any problems. There we go. So let's go ahead and continue, plug this once again, and now we can get this and basically use this break transform node. And now we have separate the location, rotation, and everything. Now for the location, I'm gonna also right click and split it once more in both cases. I'm gonna plug in only the X and Y. The Z, which is the height, we're gonna leave it as it is for the get actor location, right? Split it and set to Z, because we don't want to change the player set. It will get the current one, but not the one from the reference, because we don't want to elevate the player or anything like that. And then for the rotation, in this case, what we can do is directly plug it in, okay? And then we're gonna make sure that we toggle is in and is out, so it'll be a smooth transition. And then the time, this is the duration that the transition will occur, the animation pretty much. So let's put it at 1, and I'm gonna click on force shortest rotation path. So whatever your direction you're looking, it will rotate accordingly. And now with that said, as you can see, when I click, it will kind of work. But we need to add a small kind of delay on the interaction here, because if not, we will never see that movement, because we instantly hop into the car. As you can see, we even collided with the vehicle. So how do we add this transition? Well, in this case, delay. In this case, we will now need to move this into another location, but also make sure to pass in the reference here and get the world transform. Okay, it's gonna be from the world, and pass it, because if not, the transform that we receive here will be null or 000, and we don't want that. We want this to have the values. So we need to move this into another event outside, because in functions we cannot add delay nodes. So let's go to here, right click, custom event, and this will be something as enter vehicle, and now we cannot name it the same as our function, so this will be kind of just with delay, right? So we know that this is with the delay, and now we can add here a delay of how much. Well, that will depend. I think that 1 second will work. And then we just need to add an input here, which will be the player character blueprint that we are passing through here, which is it's of type pawn. Okay, so we're gonna go here and add another this of pawn object reference, and then we are going to once again get all of the nodes, Ctrl X, go back here, paste them, and make sure to passing this variable to here. Okay, very important. And now once again here, I can just call the delay vehicle, pass in the variable, very important, and then just connect this back again. And we have to do kind of this shortcut, but it's what it is because we cannot add delay nodes on functions. It's just how it works. So we need to call another custom event where in the event graph we can actually add the delay node, which will do the same. We need to pass the variable. And that's pretty much it. Now you will actually see the movement. So if I press E, boom, you can see the character sliding into position. Now there's a few things that we need to tweak. The first thing is that the rotation wasn't good. So let's right click and split once again the rotation, and let's plug in the X, Y, and then for Z, what we're going to do is add 90 degrees because it was looking a bit to the left. So we add 90 degrees, it should look now to the right, and boom, now it is perfect. Now another thing that we need to make sure is that the character will not collide with our vehicle, right? Because as you can see, kind of knocked it off. So we need to disable the collision. So for that, what I am going to do is expand this and add a sequence node. We already used sequences in the animation blueprint in previous episodes, so we can just drag this over here and set the actor collision enable to be disabled. And with that said, we will be good to go. There will not be any collisions. So now we can actually test that out. I can go here and boom, we don't move our vehicle. So now what we need to do is play the animation, of course. So for that, what we're going to do is do it on completed. So once we reach our destination, we're going to use the play montage node. This will be this one, which is more complete. And we can drag in the mesh of the character and then select the entering car montage. And now with that, you will see that it will play the entering car animation once it reaches. Now, it will actually not play. Why? Because we need a greater delay, okay? Yes, a bigger delay. How much of this delay? I don't know. Let's test 2 seconds, right? Because we need also some space for the animation to cure. As you can see, it's kind of happening. Now, I think that we actually need maybe even a bit more of a rotation. So let's plug in 180. Maybe that's a bit better. We can do some experiments on that. Yes, that's what we want. And as you can see, maybe actually not 180, but maybe like 120 will be good, right? And then another thing to do is leave some more space for the player character because he was very close, okay? So we're gonna move him a bit to the left, so we have more space to play the animation. All right, so let's test this now. We go here. Yeah, so we need a bit more, maybe 150 will be better. A lot of this is just experimenting with the rotations and so on. And we can see that we are playing the entering car montage, which is basically this one, right? As you can see, it's this one. Like in my testings, I used 90, so let me test this out once again. But yeah, it has to be 180, seems like. Maybe if I disable force rotation shortest path. Yeah, okay, so it has to be, 180. So let's put 180, and also let's leave the this guy a bit more to the left. So this is the destination, so we have a bit more space here. And then about this vehicle delay, we might need like 1.5 instead. All right, so we'll not complete the full animation because we cannot open our doors, but there we go. That's a bit better. Maybe 1.7, 1.75 maybe. There's a lot of trial and error, as you can see. There we go here and boom. Okay, so this is exactly what we want. Now we are not gonna be opening our doors because, well, it is a complete mesh. As you can see, the frame doesn't have individual doors, so we cannot open the doors manually. But it doesn't matter because we're doing still the effect of entering the car, which is very important. And what we're going to do right now is instead of just, you know, kind of swapping the camera immediately like it happens, it kind of just goes open and boom. We're gonna make a transition. So let's go to the vehicle blueprint, and right after the small delay, let's go ahead and use this from the get player controller node, which we actually have here. I'm gonna use this set target, set view target with blend, and this will kind of blend the target cameras. Okay, so the new target blend will be self, because we can go ahead and just go to the car, and then the blend time will be like 0.2. And then we just need a bit of delay after, so we have time to make the transition of 0.2 because it is the transitions. So now I can go here, go and enter the car, and boom. That is so cool. All right, so now what we have left is the exit, right, which will, you know, kind of happen like this. So let's go to the vehicle event graph. We have the exit over here, and we have to do a few things. So first of all, we need to set the actor collision to be, you know, back working, and let's test this. All right. We are still playing the animation, right? And you can see we exit here. So let's play the other montage, right? So on here, what we can do is call the interface that we created in one of the last episodes, which is here the exit vehicle, and doesn't contain anything. But actually we will not use it. Let's delete it. What we will do is simply use a custom event here. Okay, it will be simpler. So we're gonna say exit car, and then on here, what we can do is just play montage, this one, and just drag in the mesh, and then use the exit car montage. And now with this, what we can do is just, you know, exit the car, right? With the animation. So if I go here, enter the car, kind of drive a bit, right? Stop here. It didn't do anything because, of course, we didn't call it. So let's go exit car. Right. So this is just a pawn. So what we need to do is cast to the blueprint, right? So we have access to all of its properties, and then we can say exit the car, and now it would basically play that animation. So we can just go ahead here, drive a bit, stop the car, and exit. Now as you can see, the placement isn't correct, so this will be touched on here in the vehicle blueprint on here. First of all, for the location, let's split this, and the first thing that we need to do is to just leave X and Y as default 0, because imagine that we how do you say it, kind of put the car upside down. If you exit, the character will be also upside down. We don't want that, so we leave that at 0, but the only thing that we're interested is on Z. So let's just add 90, and let's see if that's a bit better. Okay, so let's do 90. All right, and this is, you know, again experimenting, but this is already looking much cooler. Yeah, so what we need to do is basically create another character ref. So actually this will be the enter reference, and they're gonna go ahead and just duplicate this one, and this will actually be indeed the exit. So we're gonna have two, and this exit one will be basically like closer to the car, okay, because I'm seeing that it needs to be closer. So we're gonna go here and just replace it just by dragging it over. Okay, and now with that we should be able to go drive a bit and then exit, and there we go. So okay, actually I know why it's happening, and that's because we are enabling the collision. and we need to wait a bit for that. Why? Because if not, the character will cannot be pushed. So we're gonna go ahead and just copy and paste this with a delay node of whatever the animation is, like maybe 0.7 seconds, right? And now with that, we can connect this, drag in the player character variable, and we will only enable the collision once the player exits. So we can go here, stop, and there we go. I believe that actually we can even go back and use the enter reference, right, and only have one. I think that we can actually do that. Let's test this out, and it will still look good. Yeah, okay, we need the we will need the exit, so it's a bit, you know, closer to the vehicle, right? Okay, and then I'm gonna also wait a bit more for the collision to be back enabled. And with that said, what we can do is also just make a view target blend. Okay, so I'm gonna go and get these two nodes, go here, right, a little bit of a delay of 0.2 seconds, plug it here, and the view target will be this player character variable. And now the camera should go back to position. Go here, drive a bit, stop. Okay, so it will go from right, because we need to teleport the player first. Okay, so let's do this first. Copy these nodes, move all of this to the right, because of course if not, the starting point will be where the player was, now where it is. So we need to first of all teleport the player, right, go, stop, and there we go. Now it kind of zooms in, that's because the camera is colliding with the car, and also even the mesh. So we can go and select the mesh of the car, right, and in collision we have here for camera, and let's make sure that it is for ignore, okay, which it is, it seems like. Okay, so everything should be to the camera to ignore. So actually it will be colliding with the solid mesh. So let's make sure that the player, there we go, this will be as custom and camera will be ignore. And also for the character component, custom this to camera ignore. And this will just make sure that the camera doesn't kind of get close to the player. Okay, alright, so it is actually being putting inside a bit of the ground, right? And that's because of the probably because of the location of this. So we're gonna go ahead and just put the exit one to be a bit higher, right? I think this should kind of fix a bit the problem, and let's also enable teleport, so we'll be out of doubt. Okay, as you can see, that's better, but we still need to kind of put it higher, and that's just simply how it works. Okay, we just need to put it higher and test until what works. It's the sound, and that is way better, just a bit more, and we will have it all set up, which is cool. Of course, we will need to add later on, you know, vehicle sounds and when you enter and exit the car, but this is working. And of course, we can play around a bit more with the height and so on, so it matches correctly the car. So So that's it, guys. If you found this video helpful, I would really appreciate it if you could like the video and subscribe to my channel. Remember, they have full access to the profiles on Patreon and YouTube members, so check that out. Join my Discord server to talk with me and other developers on Unreal Engine. Join my Discord server, like you just mentioned. Check out my new course, Game Dev TV, on how to make a stealth game on Unreal Engine. Follow me on my socials, and now, yes, before I said bye bye.